Welcome back to The Explainer. Let's jump right into the drilling engineer's mandate, specifically looking at how we go about designing the actual, real-world path of a well.
So just to briefly recap where we left off last time, remember those staggering costs and immense physical depth barriers we talked about? Well, navigating all of that falls squarely on the shoulders of the drilling engineer. Their entire job, and I mean their whole mandate, is this incredibly strict three-way balancing act. They are constantly juggling the physical limits of the rock, the absolutely non-negotiable safety of the crew, and strict government regulations. And you can't just pick two. You literally have to balance all three at the exact same time.
Now, what does this balancing act actually look like on paper? It boils down to 4 tangible deliverables. We've got the well trajectory plan, the casing design, the mud program, which dictates the heavy fluids we use to stabilize the hole, and finally, the AFE, which is your cost estimate. But here's the trick. These 4 things, they are constantly being cross-checked against each other. It's like a giant puzzle. If you change the mud fluid, well, you might suddenly have to upgrade your casing, which instantly blows up your AFE cost estimate. Now, you'd probably assume, like most people, that the ultimate goal is just to point the drill straight down. Shortest distance between 2 points, right? But here is a massive industry rule of thumb you need to keep in mind. The physical path of least resistance is almost never the safest or the cheapest path. If you just go straight through the easiest rock, it might lead you right into a high-pressure zone that could trigger a massive blowout. And hovering over this whole shebang is the ultimate trump card, regulation. You could design an absolutely flawless, well, one that hits your budget perfectly right down to the penny. But if it skips a regulatory review or if it violates a spacing boundary, your project is instantly halted, period. It doesn't matter how sound the engineering is, the operation is done. Honestly, I like to think of the drilling engineer as kind of an underground architect. Think about a skyscraper architect for a second. They can't just focus on load-bearing steel, right? They have to strictly adhere to fire codes and client budgets. It's the exact same concept underground. The drilling engineer must design a well that is both affordable and permittable. They aren't just designing the best technical well in a vacuum, they are designing the best well that the law actually allows. Notice how multilateral, horizontal, and directional wells are laid out. They're curved on purpose. It's definitely not an accident. They are specifically steered away from a straight-down path to avoid hazards, like unstable fault zones, or to stay precisely within legal spacing units. And those spacing units are just the strict government boundaries that dictate exactly where you can legally extract the resources. So let's actually test this concept. We know offshore rig time can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars a single day. So why on earth would an engineer voluntarily choose a longer, way more expensive trajectory instead of just gunning it straight down? The answer? Longer path, lower risk. It's that simple. Because sure, that shortest path looks great, but it might cross straight through a highly unstable fault zone that could trap your drill string. In those critical moments, pure physics and lowest cost absolutely must take a backseat to legality and safety. Paying for 3 extra days of drilling is always cheaper than dealing with a catastrophic blowout. So what's the alternate reality here? It's that technical elegance, frankly, does not get a well drilled. You can draw up the most beautiful, friction-free wellbore on paper, but if it ignores crew safety and government oversight, it's just a drawing. Actually managing those messy, real-world trade-offs, that is the true mandate of the drilling engineer. All right, so Chapter 1 gave us the why and laid out the immense constraints of well design. Our next explainer kicks off Chapter 2, and we're taking you all the way back to the very beginning. Because before you can balance all these complex constraints, how do operators even know where to point the well in the first place? Think about it. How do you accurately hit a target thousands of feet underground when you are completely blind to what's actually down there? We are going to uncover that mystery next time.